I just see we're getting everybody online here, connected to audio. It is good to see many familiar faces and some names on here as well. So we're just going to give it a minute or so. We've got, I think, about a dozen, maybe 2 dozen people that have RSVP'd. And we'll get underway with the formal program as well. But just so everybody knows, we are going to be recording this. We just started the recording. So we're going to put this up on YouTube afterwards, send the link around. And I see some local folks. I see Bob Peters at Economic Development and Stephen Mann, maybe a Geraldine from the South Dundas Chamber, Greg Petersman from the Cornwall Chamber. So I encourage you to share the YouTube link afterwards. So I know probably just as many people couldn't attend today with the busy schedules and it being a Friday at lunch hour, but we'll get underway in about a minute here. Just give us a chance to get a few others connected and we'll go from there. All right, we'll get underway here in the interest of trying to keep this under an hour. It is great to have everybody join us today, and I want to thank the team at our SD&G, Cornwall and the Counties, CFDC, the Community Futures Development Corporation. Lesley and her team have been great throughout not just COVID-19, but in my coming up next week, 1-year anniversary as an MP, and even my time before working for GIA. We've always had a great working relationship with the CFDC. And one of my jobs is to advocate for programs, of course, in Ottawa. But then when we do get programs, is to make sure that our local business community are aware of them, how they can apply for them, and make sure that we make full use of dollars and programs that come into our area. And I think, and part of the seminar today is to give you some more details on the TIP program, the Technology Innovation Program. And I think also try to inspire different businesses to see through their lens of how they could implement some of these funds or these initiatives in their own business. So we're lucky to have Lesley join us today and Andrew Seguin from the team, who's one of the advisors on the program. And they're going to go through a bit of a presentation, but also talk and give some examples of businesses that have already signed agreements or in the process of doing this. And Andrew, you will recognize from some of our previous seminars, he has been a godsend when it comes to navigating some of the new COVID-19 programs and did some great seminars on that. But even just for an example today, and I believe I don't want to steal the thunder, but talking about how some businesses are going more to cloud-based accounting software and some of the new technologies available there. Every business has to do books. So, I mean, from that angle alone, I think there's a lot that could start to inspire people in businesses that this type of program or this type of initiative can help you out that way. Just as a technical thing, again, I mentioned it briefly earlier, is that we are recording this session, so it will be available on YouTube afterwards. So if you want to go back and reference this, if you are with the Chamber of Commerce or an economic development team, you could share that link with all the businesses in the community and hopefully inspire more of them. Or applying to everybody, if you know of a business that could take advantage of this, to say, hey, you need to take a watch of this. I think this program can work for you, and make sure we get as many businesses in our area applying and using these funds. Because the line I always use is, it's great to have these announcements, it's great to get these dollars, but if we don't put them to good use, they go back to Ottawa and some other community gets them. So we want to make sure we get our fair share and use our fair share. So without further ado, I'll pass it over to Lesley and the CFDC team to talk about the Technology Innovation Program. Lesley.
Hi, thank you very much, Eric and Adrian, for enabling us to showcase this program. You've been excellent in providing a platform for us to talk about it. There's a lot going on. We've had a lot of opportunity to share the story of TIP and how it works. But I think the goal today, as you mentioned, was to get a little more granular so you can understand some really key examples of how this program's been able to help people so far. This was a program inspired by our clients who continued to come to us to say that we know that adopting technology is something that my business needs to do, or else I'll be left behind. We know that there's a way to optimize and to make our lives easier, but the hill to climb is seemingly unsurmountable. I don't have the technology background, or there's just way too many options out there in terms of the kinds of technologies that I'm being, inundated with all the time. So we really need a guide. And also, those guides, if you just go out into the market, can sometimes cost way too much money. So we tried to remove the barriers to adopting technology and try to make it as simple as possible for our clients in the business community to get into Industry 4.0, to get cloud-based bookkeeping, to get e-commerce sites, to get inventory control, to get all the kinds of technology that you really need nowadays just to be able to keep up. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to launch into our quick presentation. We're going to try and make it as relevant as possible. We've highlighted some specific clients that Andrew is working with. We have a number of advisors that we work with. We kind of collect people and experts that have different niches within the technology realm, so that when we approach a client, there's a resource for whatever they may need. So the Technology Innovation Program is funded by the RED program and through FedDev with the Rural Innovation Initiative program. And this was a program that was supposed to launch April 1st, but something may have happened around then that delayed us. So because of the pandemic, we were delayed to launching till about May, but it was certainly a very timely project, because there was never a better time for businesses to get online and adopt technology than there was during this pandemic. So what is TIP? I elaborated a little bit more, but it really is a program created to provide business owners with the expertise and the support that they need in order to adopt the right solutions based on the business owner's technological savvy, based on their budget, based on the size of the business. So we look ahead, not just at where the business is, but where it's going as well. It is spearheaded by the Community Futures, and it is available to any business in Akwesasne, Cornwall, and SD&G. So who is it for? It really is easier to say who is it not for. It is for business owners who can't afford their own IT tech support or internal tech team. Anyone who is interested in boosting sales and productivity by leveraging technologies. Anyone who is focused on ensuring they remain competitive in a very competitive environment, even more so as you move online. Anyone who is interested in leveraging the data to make smarter business decisions and improving the company's agility and resiliency in the face of changing markets and customer demands, as we're seeing right now through the pandemic. So how does it work? There's really two. The program's evolved in a little bit, but initially there was this 5-step program, and that still remains. But some people, they might not know what they need, and they may want more of a walkthrough. So they may want a full discovery where we really get in there and we identify their pain points, and we try and we go back and we find research and find solutions, technology solutions for those pain points. We go through and make recommendations. We build an implementation plan with them, and then there's an evaluation process. So that's if there's someone who's not entirely sure what technologies are best suited. But we also of late have companies who come to us and they just say, I know what I want and this is what I want. So we can go about it two ways. So some of the clients that Andrew has worked with, which we're going to talk about, which he's going to talk about shortly, some of them just said, no, this is what I need, but I just need help to onboard it. I just want the digital bookkeeping. I want cloud-based bookkeeping, and I want tools to make my bookkeeping simpler. So there's two ways to go about it. So I'll introduce you to the team. Andrew Seguin is the one who's going to be speaking about some specific examples today. Andrew is the owner of Seguin Financial, and he signed on to be an advisor for TIP. He's worked with the MP Eric Duncan throughout the pandemic has mentioned, he's really made a point to be very aware of all of the ever-changing COVID-related programs, and that alone has been a huge asset. You don't only get the technical expertise, but you get the more generalized business support as well when you work with Andrew. Paul Bouvier is the owner of PEB Services Group, and he's been a technologist for over 25 years. He really knows software solutions. He's a bit of a generalist and has a good understanding of all sorts of different technologies, hardwares, softwares. He's working on a number of more complex inventory control management solutions for some clients right now. And he's very well connected as well. He came over from the innovation cluster out in BC, and so he's got the kind of connections that can help your business beyond on the technology side as well. Braden Gerard, he is the owner of Daydream. He's an engineer, he's a professor, and he's a developer. It is not easy to find developers, and we have one in our very own backyard who's got the ability to translate those kind of complex development terminology and into kind of layman's terms so that a non-digital or non-tech savvy person is able to understand them. He's also very proficient in building websites and e-commerce sites and applications. And Chantal, I'm sure many in this group are also familiar with, the owner of Big Catch Communications. She works with us because anytime you have a website, you need to have a digital marketing strategy. What is your website going to look like? What kind of content is going to be on there? So she's great in copywriting. She's got excellent connections when it comes to any kind of design work to make that website not just operational, but also beautiful. So with that quick introduction of the team, I'll hand it back over to Andrew, who's going to give you some concrete examples of how exactly we've been able to help a few of our clients.
Thanks, Lesley. Yeah, so my name is Andrew Seguin. So as Lesley mentioned, I'm the founder of Seguin Financial, and what we specialize in is cloud-based bookkeeping solutions. That's a wide range of different products, whether it's an accounting solution, whether it's payroll, inventory, e-commerce platforms, payment solutions. There's a lot behind that, but at the end of the day, we help our clients get modernized and get on the cloud. So get on the cloud. Everyone's on the cloud right now, right? It's like if you're just doing email, you're technically on the cloud. So whether it's on your phone, messaging, social media, it's all on the cloud. So now we're just taking the bookkeeping and accounting side of things and putting it there. So one of the first clients I knew it would be a perfect fit for the tip was a new franchise that's sort of secretive that's opening up in Cornwall. They're expected to open next few months. And I can't say the location right now because it's still hidden, but they're called Mr. Puff. So it's a franchise that originally began in Quebec, and it's going to be the first location in Ontario. So what they do is they specialize in Greek desserts. So you have your delicious Greek desserts. You're going to have like milkshakes and all these amazing desserts that Cornwall loves, and we're very spoiled when it comes to food. So it's a perfect fit. And what I thought initially was a perfect match with the tip is because they're going through a lot of different processes initially. So they're new in the franchise area. So we need an accounting system. We need a payroll system. We need to organize their receipts. We also need to assist and train them on a point of sale system that they're not familiar with. So this is where we come in, and we get all the systems to actually talk to each other. So it's, the old school way to bookkeeping is silos. So you would have your accounting solution and then a payroll provider, maybe it's ADP or Ceridian or it's in-house. And then you have other things, they're all in silos. They're not talking to each other. They're not integrated. Or nowadays, by being in the cloud, you can really get everything to talk to each other, which is pretty neat. So your point of sales, in my opinion, if a restaurant or a retail location doesn't have a point of sale system of some kind, I think they're just behind the curve, right? Because there's so much data that's being fed into that really helps us analyze and determine what's working well, what's not working well. We can see sales, time of day of the week, what products are selling well, which ones are not. Look at the margins per product. If we're implementing a discount or a special rate for a certain day of the week, is it working? Is it not working? Right? Those are things that are important to determine for profitability, right? So Mr. Puffs, what we're working on is implementing QuickBooks Online, the accounting solution, a payroll solution called Knit that would talk to QuickBooks Online, Receipt Bank, which I have a video later on. I'm going to show you how that works. But also the point of sale system that will also integrate and dump data into your QuickBooks Online system. So it's really more of a hands-off approach where I'm not manually doing data entry for the client. It's a really seamless integration, and I can spend more time analyzing the figures, right? It's gone are the days, in my opinion, where a bookkeeper is doing purely data entry. We've had to evolve in the last few years, and one way that we've done that is to provide analysis, just letting the client know what's working well, what's not working well. So we're now in the process of setting up the systems, and very excited, and they're very much excited. They loved it from day one when I showed them how the systems can work, and that's been a common theme with almost every client that has met with us. Is they didn't know these things were possible, and now they are. So with the assistance in the tip, it's allowed them to have a reduced cost burden on that front. So that's Mr. Puffs there. The next one's a bit more complex. So Control Plus, they're a manufacturing e-commerce business. So this client has already had a primary operating company, and now they're opening a secondary one with a new trademark. And this one's more complex because there's a lot more moving parts. So when you're jumping into the e-commerce sector, it's not as straightforward as a sale and receiving payment. There's a lot of things going on in between. So you have different payment solutions like whether it's Shopify, PayPal, Stripe, and then you have different sales channels like Amazon, Shopify, eBay, retail, wholesale. And then you have inventory. So, tracking that, looking at your inventory levels, looking at your margins. And then you have your shipping component, right? So what's cool about, again, accounting solutions being modernized is that, again, all of these things can talk to each other. So this client here, Control Plus, what we're doing is that we're building a foundational ecosystem where everything is talking to each other in a seamless way. So I'll give you an example. Let's say someone's going through the Shopify website to make an order. That Shopify, when that order is done, will push into the inventory system. That inventory system is live, and that inventory system is not just talking to Shopify, but it's also talking to Amazon and eBay. So anytime an order happens in any sales channel, it populates back into the inventory system. When that order is made, it talks to a shipping integration app, which automatically prints off the label with the price on it based on their location. And then it automatically adjusts your inventory. So then you have, at this point, an order that's been processed, adjusted your inventory, cost of goods sold has been established, the shipping label has been established, and then that sale then pushes back into your accounting system automatically. So these are the examples where we've taken e-commerce clients during COVID, and they've doubled or tripled their sales without being burdened on their finance department, because at the end of the day, we're letting automation do its thing, right? We're letting technology and modernization really handle the meat and the heavy lifting of their finance department. And we as bookkeepers, accountants, whatever you want to call us, we're analyzing, reviewing, and making sure everything's working well. And our value is ensuring that our expertise is being provided to the client. So this is a really fun tip client because we love e-commerce. It's been huge in the last 7 months. I think Shopify, as a Canadian company, has blown up in the last 7 months because of COVID. And I think a lot of people are realizing how important having some kind of e-commerce structure to the business is important. Whether you're solely e-commerce or you have a retail storefront plus an e-commerce section of your business, they can both work very well together. And we have clients that do have a storefront and an e-commerce online platform, and they do talk to each other the same way I mentioned. So there's essentially whatever you think you would want to get done in a perfect world, it's probably doable nowadays with these inventory systems and integrations nowadays. So it's really neat. And to be honest, it's one of the biggest reasons why I started my firm, because I knew this was the way of the future on the bookkeeping front. So that's Control Plus. And the good thing about all this is that at the end of the day, we're going to get really good financials, right? It's something I strongly believe in, is getting good, clean monthly management financials and taking all this data and interpret it into an easy to understand way.
And Andrew, if I could just interject for a moment before we move on to our next client. Control Plus is one of the second company owned by Karen Brunet, who's been working with the CFDC for a while. She's been able to access a Rural Innovation Initiative grant. She's been able to access Launch Lab services. Launch Lab on the phone with us today as well. I'll give Scott a shout out if you can hear me.
Hey, Lesley.
Hi, Scott. So Scott's also been able to connect Karen with an investor who is, and the end result was that she was able to raise $700,000 during the pandemic for the expansion of her business. Maybe I could jump to Scott for just a 2-minute mention on that, because I think that it's important to note that TIP is just one of the services that the CFDC offers. So we intake clients through loans or through TIP or through many other means, but that's not to say that that is exclusively what you get. We try and have a holistic look at how we can help a company, and our partnerships are one way that we do that. So maybe I could just get Scott a quick 2 minutes to talk a little bit more about this client.
Thanks, Lesley. Geez, 2 minutes. I don't know if I've ever made 2 minutes in my life, but I'll do my best. First of all, I'm really glad I could be here today. Congratulations on the TIP program. And Eric, thank you for putting this together as well. I think that, the CFDC in Cornwall has been a very strong region for Launch Lab, and our partnership goes back many years. So Lesley's right. I've had the good fortune. I'm actually a Cornwall boy who left when I was 17 years old, but through this work, I've been able to come back into the area. And pre-COVID, Launch Lab, myself or members of our team were usually in Cornwall 1 to 2 days a month working with clients. And I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to Andrew and Chantel and others on the team that you've put together here. These are all people we know well and have a great deal of respect for the work that everyone's doing in Cornwall. Our goal at Launch Lab is always to complement programs like TIP and others that are going on and see if there's an opportunity for our advisory services to enhance and help companies start, grow, and ultimately be successful. And so really thrilled to be, working with the TIP program and looking for ways that our program can complement what you guys are doing. We're also, Launch Lab has become heavily involved in the Digital Main Street program funding that came through FedDev through Invest Ottawa, but Launch Lab is managing activity in this area right across Eastern Ontario. And Lesley and I think Greg, who might be on this call as well, are part of a steering committee that we've put together. And I really think there'll be an opportunity to leverage some of the Digital Main Street resources to support and enhance what TIP is trying to do. So to your point about if I'm coming up to my 2 minutes, yes, you're absolutely right. Karen is a very near and dear client of ours. I've personally had the opportunity to work with her. Thrilled to see her working with Andrew and his team. For us, it's just all about trying to help companies get to that next level, and whatever that takes, we're there to try and help. So, look forward to seeing how we can do that with this program. And thanks so much for allowing me to be here today.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, so Scott was saying, and one thing to add on to this point is that there's no better time now to receive help, right? It's like there's nothing wrong with saying, I need help with this. I need help with this. And there's so many funding and grant opportunities nowadays, coincidentally, whether it's because of COVID or just in the pipeline to begin with. So it's like, whether it's Digital Main Street through Launch Lab, the RIF through CFDC, the TIP, like, a lot of these things can be assisting each other and collaborating with each other to ensure that any business is not left behind. Because I think if you want to get modernized, if you want to get a website, and I know Braden's on the call here, if you want to get an e-commerce platform through Shopify, I strongly believe that these are very important things more than ever. Like, our most successful clients during these times have been clients that were able to pivot and were able to either establish a website through Shopify, Wix, WooCommerce, or who have already had one up and running beforehand. So, because they don't have a storefront, or they're having to close, sales were still populating. They were still able to pivot and things were able to still function. And that was super important. So, I think with Digital Main Street, Launch Lab, the RIF, the SIVA loan, the TIP, there's a lot of different things that can be, assisting each other to make sure that you and your business can really get the assistance that it needs. So the third client that we're pushing through is called Fact and Builders. This one's cool because they're a construction client, and there's typically no more of an old school type of client than a construction client, right? Tons of receipts, tons of paper, job costing. They want to see their profitability per job, per house they're building. So, they were using a desktop solution, so QuickBooks Desktop. But Stefan, the owner, he understood the importance of going online, and he was using parts of it. So he was using something called T-Sheets, which is a time management solution to track the staff's hours per job. But his accountant was old school, right? Using desktop solutions, wasn't able to pivot. And so Stefan knew the importance of going on the cloud, going modernized. So he was a perfect client to bring to the tip, because now with this stack of accounting solutions that we're implementing, we're now able to job cost items on the fly. So he can take a picture of a receipt, he can type on his phone what job it belongs to, or even assign it himself. And then that receipt gets pushed to us as the account on the file, and we can categorize it effectively. So he's not having to physically write on receipts and bring it to his accountant once a week, once a month to categorize. The problem with that is there's a higher chance of losing receipts. There's a higher chance of always being behind, right? By the time financials are being prepared, you're now mid-October, you're only seeing things for August. So it's like, we always provide financials on the 15th of the month. So, October 15th hit, that's for September. So it's really live accounting. It's a live bookkeeping. And with a construction client like Fact and Builders, we're able to take his really strong service of providing pre-engineered buildings, construction, and give it a modernized cloud-based touch to it. And he's been loving it. He's already on board. He's like I said, he's already been somewhat used to cloud-based solutions, but now he's getting the full gist of everything with Receipt Bank, a payroll solution, and QuickBooks Online. So he loves it. He's been a big fan of it already, and we can't wait to continue working with them. Lesley, do you want me to show you the video now?
Yeah, so we're going to cut to, I think, a quick 4-minute video so that you can really see how some of these solutions work. And Andrew's prepared that for us.
Yes, just bear with me one sec.
While Andrew's preparing the video, I will make a quick shout out to Jamie Tyrell, who's the newest account manager here at the CFDC. And if you're looking for ways in which you can cover the cost of an engagement like this, or fund some pivot to your business, that's something that the Regional Relief and Recovery Fund can do. That would be an eligible cost. There is a cost sharing portion. The grant funds it at 50%. So you're able to access all of these expertise at half of the cost that you would otherwise have to pay. So there's still an investment from you, the business owner, but the other side of it is covered, and you get the wraparound services as well. So Jamie, if you could give us a quick wave over there. Anyone interested in learning about the Regional Relief and Recovery Fund that we have, which is at 0% up to $40,000, that can help cover the cost of this. There's also an up to 25% forgivable portion. It's a really attractive package if you package it all together, because with the forgivable portion, you could get almost all of the cost of a tip mandate for free, really. Sorry, go ahead, Andrew. Thanks.
No, yeah, that's great. Yeah. I'm just going to do a quick 2-second test, making sure everyone can hear it. Lesley, just let me know if you can hear it here. Hi, everyone. I wanted to quickly show you how using, good, okay. All right, so I'm gonna give a quick background. So, within a day, I can talk all about accounting solutions, for 2 or 3 hours and make your eyes roll back. But at the end of the day, I like to show you a visual approach, right? How do these systems actually work? How do they talk to each other? So yesterday, I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of show you in about 4 minutes, this process. So from bill, from receipt, all the way to the end, and how that can sort of feed and talk to each other. So I made this video through Loom yesterday, and we'll play it now. Apps and technology can really help streamline your business. So through the Technology Innovation Program, the TIP, this is what it's all about. So first, we're going to talk about Receipt Bank. Receipt Bank is a receipt management software that really helps you go paperless. So let's say you're a contractor and you're going to Home Depot and you get this flimsy receipt. Well, open the app on your phone, take a picture of it, and what happens is it gets fed to the dashboard in Receipt Bank. And that takes about 30 minutes to an hour for Receipt Bank to use OCR technology to transcribe the receipt. So I've kind of sped up this process to help save some time. So as an accountant or yourself, you would log in and you would see this receipt of this picture you've taken. What's cool about this, and this is where the magic really happens, Receipt Bank knows the date. And looking at this receipt very quickly, it's tough to even find out what the date is. But if you zoom in right here, you can see it's May 25th. So Receipt Bank is smart enough to know the dates. It's smart enough to know that it's Home Depot. And I didn't touch this. I just took a picture of this 10 minutes ago and I did not touch this at all. It knew it was Home Depot. It knew the date. It knew it was $80.33. It knew the HST was $9.24. It knew it was repairs and maintenance for me because that's what I built the rule on. I've even typed in on my phone which job it belongs to. So if I'm job costing it, it even knows which payment method to use for reconciliation purposes. So all this is happening automatically. And what's cool is that this process used to might take a minute, 2 minutes, between 1 and 2 minutes to actually process a receipt. Now it takes me 5 seconds. Receipt Bank is smart. So I'm going to click publish. And what happens here, it takes about 5 to 10 seconds, and then we'll push into your accounting system. And it kind of gives you a little notification when that's been done. So there you go. It's been published. So now in your accounting system, you click pay bills. It's going to show Home Depot right here. So here you go, May 25th, $80.33. You can click on this, and here's your bill. So not only that, the attachment in the accounting system is also there for audit purposes. So this receipt will never fade. You never lose it. You won't spill coffee on it. It'll always be there for audit purposes, and that's amazing. So that's just part one. Part two is that, let's say you want to pay this bill. So let's say it's a supplier, not like Home Depot, but it's a contractor, or it's somebody else who's doing work for you and you need to pay them. Well, using something like Pluto, which is a accounts receivable, accounts payable management software, you can actually integrate this with QuickBooks Online to pay your bill. So let's say I'm ready to pay my bill, and I am going to integrate and sync up my outstanding bills from QuickBooks Online. So there it is, Home Depot. Not only, I can also see the attachment within Pluto. So I click on it and there you go. So it's redundancy. You have it now in Receipt Bank, your accounting system, QuickBooks Online, and Pluto. So let's say I'm ready to pay this Home Depot bill. I can enter the information on the fly, so I can do EFT in an email transfer, or I can actually do a direct deposit payment. And then the actual contact can see which bills I'm paying. And there's different ways I'm actually integrating that. I can schedule payments in the future. I can schedule the payment today. I can say which bank account it's coming from. What's cool about all this is that when it's done, when this is actually paid, it feeds back into your accounting system. So it's really hands off, and you can even build authorizations. So let's say as an accountant, I want to pay some suppliers on your behalf, but I can't actually pay them unless you, as the business owner, actually authorizes the payments. So it's really cool. You get an email notification. You can actually see the attachments of which bills we're trying to pay. It really allows a full seamless transition. So now you have a receipt software, you have a payment software, accounting software. What's next? Well, financials. So month to month, we're providing really good, clean quality financial reporting that gives you a nice executive summary. This is just a demo company, but you can see very quickly your revenue from this month to the prior month. Did you do better? Did you do worse? And what's going on for the year? You can see nice graphs of your income and expenses, so you can see what's going on. You get your top expense accounts. You can see your profit and loss reports. These are all cool things, in my opinion, that really helps take your business to the next level. So it's about 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes of just quickly chatting about some of the apps that we use at Seguin Financial and how we can really help streamline your business. Thanks. So, one thing I'm obviously noticing, I'll stop sharing here. One thing I'm noticing very quickly is that I am saying cool a lot. And that's, in my honest opinion, this is really cool, right? This is not a thing that was here 5 years ago, right? It was really old school, having to take a paper receipt, manually type it in your accounting system, and then see what happens, right? It's like, then you got to log into your bank account online or do a check. We don't do any checks for our clients. All of our clients are on Pluto or they're doing EFT transfers. Everything talking to each other, in my opinion, is the way of the future, right? It's such a necessity nowadays. And I've just taken a receipt in that video and I can process it, pay the bill, and feed the financials in a matter of 30 seconds. But extrapolate that over the course of 200, 300 transactions per month. Let's say you're a monster of a business. You can see the time savings. Our most complex client, the amount of data entry we're spending on that client is probably 6 hours a month. Six hours a month of actual data entry. When I say data entry, I mean receipt bank and Pluto and stuff like that. So between payroll, the bookkeeping, the financials, everything else, it's between 6 to 10 hours per month. And that's only possible through this automation process, right? It's like it would definitely take me 20 to 30 hours on that same client if I didn't have these solutions today. So there's a lot of redundancy, you can see, right? Being able to have that attachment, that receipt in 3 different areas really makes it so that if you need to leave one system, well, it's still there. But not only that, if you ever had to leave this platform as a whole, you can export all the PDFs and save it for audit purposes. So you're not stuck, right? You're not stuck and being held against your will on this specific platform. You can always switch or bring it back in-house or do whatever you want. But every client, through the TIP program and through my side of things are getting these apps. They're getting Pluto, they're getting Receipt Bank, they're getting QuickBooks Online. It's not because I'm forcing the client to take these things on. It's because if you're not with those systems, I think, unfortunately, you're missing out on a lot of potential in your business, and especially in regards to the financials. So SIP Analytics was that one report that we saw at the end that really helped take the business to the next level. And those were only 4 reports. We do monthly financials like that, but it's more detailed. Quarterly analysis with quarterly reports and financial reviews with financial reports. So we're really seeing everything on a different lens. So we've got really granular data and we got high level data, right? It's not just 1 month that we're looking at. It's like month to month and then quarter to quarter, year to year, and then looking at things as a whole. And then we can even do the projections and scenario testing through this reporting app. So if you're having cash flow issues like COVID, what's your burn rate? What do you need for injection through the RIF or CFDC to help contain you and keep you going for the next 4 months? We've done those scenarios. We've done those testings. And with all these apps that we're able to do this very quickly, we're not having to spend 3-4 weeks of catch-up work. We plug a new scenario in, it's done for the next day. So these are some examples that some of the clients that through the TIP program that have been benefiting from these subsidies, and very happy for Lesley to bring me on board because I'm very passionate about the one side of this industry that many people are not, and understandably so. Accounting, bookkeeping, it's not sexy. It's not, I know. But in my honest opinion, it is. It's getting there, right? Being able to go paperless. I'm very proud to say that. You check out our offices on Notre Dame Street, we have no paper lying around, like except during tax season. They bring their stuff in and give it back, but we're paperless. My firm is paperless. I don't have any physical receipts anywhere. I actually take a picture of it and rip it out. So it's been nice. It's been fun. And I'm very happy to be on board with the TIP program through the CFDC.
Thank you, Andrew. And I think a lot of what is involved here is removing that intimidation factor. I know that you were able to do something like that in 30 seconds, but there's an education process, there's a training, there's an interpretation that you provide to the client so that they run these walkthroughs and they're not on their own just trying to find out which one of these apps is best for their industry and how to work it. You're there as a partner alongside to help them through.
Absolutely. And we're a part of your team. I strongly believe that all of our clients, it doesn't matter how small or large they are, we do want to be a part of their team. And it's not just throwing these apps at you and saying, good luck, right? It's an ongoing open dialogue, giving the questions we want to know. So it's not just implementing technology and letting you be on your merry way. It's really involving in your business, right? On the consulting side, right? Talking to you about the business, where you want to take the business. What do you see in the next 3 to 5 years? Do you want to sell in 5 or do you want to keep this bad boy going? We like to be involved in the discussions, and having technologists helps us have those discussions, right? It's like, when a client takes a picture of a receipt, I can actually message them through the app. So it just allows more instantaneous communication and not having communication for a month later on a specific receipt. It's on the fly dialogue. So it's really important. It's really important to be a part of the client's overall understanding of their business and just being part of their team.
So I think we talked long enough. We're eager to hear any questions that you might have. Maybe I can send it over to our MP Duncan to facilitate any questions or add some comments.
Sure. No, I think it's great. So what we can do is we have, I believe, the raise hand feature. I'll see Adrian on here. He's the IT expert. Along there, if you can use in the chat screen if you want to ask a question, or we can go from there if you want to get our attention that way. Adrian, is there a raise hand feature on?
There is, yeah. You just go under your participants tab on the bottom of the screen, click on that. You'll actually see your name on the right-hand side. If you right-click on that, there's the option to, under more, to raise your hand.
So if anybody's got any questions, and again, the point of the session twofold. Number one is to give the information on the program, but second, to try to inspire ideas of how you can, I'm sure every business has a project with technology of improving efficiency and process. If it's from an accounting, from an accounting software perspective, like we saw, if it's the logistics of the business, if you're retail and you're computing in your cash and how you handle that at your front, I think every single business has an opportunity of ways they've wanted to try to leverage better technology to try to get some ideas and inspiration of how you can do that and tap into this fund. So if there's any questions, we'll take them now. And just while we're waiting for some, I'll also just say as well, if you have something in theory or an idea, please reach out to Lesley, kind of give the pitch. They can connect you with one of the advisors like Andrew that can go out, meet with you, but likely by Zoom like this, just to go over what that idea, maybe formalize an idea, and you've got a conceptual idea and how you can bring it to reality. And that's exactly what this program is about. So there's a wide array, there's endless possibilities with all this. So we encourage you just to reach out and have that conversation with Lesley and or one of the advisors to see how you can make it happen. I think you guys did such a wonderful job. There isn't one single question. We'll just give it another. Actually, we do. We have Matt Van Gerp on there. Matt will unmute you and see if we can get your question out there.
Yeah, I just had a question about the Receipt Bank app. We're a service business, and so we have people in the field, with meals and expenses when they're on the road from project to project.
Yeah.
Can we use that to log our receipts, but then, kind of do a lump sum payment once a month instead of, reimbursing their expenses each time a receipt comes in?
Yeah. So what's cool about Receipt Bank? Cool, again. But there's an expense reimbursement component of Receipt Bank. So you can actually add your staff as users that can submit receipts. And then what will happen is we can build an expense form. And depending on your policy, it could be once a month, once a quarter, that will start building all those receipts. And then when we're happy with it, we would push it into, say, something like QuickBooks Online. And then if we're ready to pay it, you as the owner, whoever would authorize, and they can actually see every individual receipt of what they're wanting to pay. So there is an expense form component where, and we do have this in place with some of our clients, where their staff, they're personally, they're taking on the expenses personally instead of through a corporate credit card, and they want to get it reimbursed. So they take pictures, it builds an expense form once a month. We push it through, it gets authorized, and then we push it through Pluto to pay the actual staff.
Okay, is there such thing as a hybrid model with that for like mileage reimbursement as well, or is it just receipt expenses?
Yeah, so there's other apps out there that can track your mileage. I would say in that case, I would say something like a quick spreadsheet, a Google Sheet to track the mileage, and we can just add that on to the actual expense form bill. So then you might have like 5 lines for different meals and reimbursements, and then you might have a 6th line for mileage reimbursement. And then we can have a backup document to associate with that. Receipt Bank at the moment doesn't have a mileage component. There are apps like Expensify and Mile IQ that do have a mileage component, and QuickBooks Online actually has a mileage component, but it's only for the owners. It's not for staff. So if you're an owner of the business, you have a free mileage log within QuickBooks Online, but not for your staff at this moment.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the great question. And to add on to Matthew's question, Receipt Bank, that was just probably 20% of a Receipt Bank's functionality. You can have Receipt Bank physically log in to supplier portal accounts to grab invoices. So, if you're so annoyed of having to log into Rogers every month to get your cell phone bill, you can log into Rogers. You can log into Cogeco. You can log in Union Gas, Amazon, TELUS, FedEx, Canada Post. You can physically log into the portal and actually grab those invoices on a daily basis. So you're not having to do that. And then you can have like auto publishing. So you don't even have to do anything. I don't like that. I don't like the system and technology control our decision making, but it really helps us at the end of the day.
Are there other questions? I don't see any in the participants right now, but again, I would encourage everybody a few things. We'll have the recording of this seminar posted onto YouTube. Adrian will send the link out to everybody by email to the email that you registered on. I'll be posting this on my social media likely later today or tomorrow. Please share the links with your colleagues, your different networks, and encourage people to start thinking about ways they can engage technology in their business for improvements, for efficiencies, whatever it is. I don't think, frankly, there is a single business in our riding that likely couldn't use increased technology or a new technology to some form. We just need to make sure we make use and show the demand of this program and the potential for it. So with that, I want to thank Lesley. I want to thank Andrew and the CFDC team. You see on the screen share right now the website, Lesley's contact information, phone number, and email both. Please get the ball rolling. Let's get this program fully subscribed. Lesley, what percentage of dollars are left in this program right now, give or take, approximately, just to give a context?
We probably have about 35% left right now, but we are actively working on other dollars to try and extend the program. I think the pilot, if you will, has demonstrated a lot of value and significant demand. So we're actively working on ways that we can extend the program and hopefully beyond the March 31st deadline.
Sounds good. Well, with that, again, thank you for your time. Thank you to everybody for joining us and helping get the word out. Have a great Friday afternoon and a great weekend ahead. Thanks for joining us and take care, everybody. Stay well.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Lesley.